Well, hello again. This is Steve Wolf, and we're going to do a recap of what happened in the month of July for 2022 and do a little bit of a preview of what we think may be coming up. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to resurrect my role as the certified financial poet. And you can send your cards and letters in. You can give me all the comments you want, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the first half of this year was really a bad show. We wondered aloud, how low can we go? But then came July, and the markets rebounded, as many a pundit was left astounded. Have we hit the bottom? Can we exhale now? Is the rally for real in the NASDAQ and Dow? We've all felt the markets were really a mess, so let's recap and preview and give it our best guess. So there you have it. Certified Financial Poet is back. So what happened in the month of July? It was really a good month. The Dow was up a little bit under 7%. The S&P was up around 9%, and the NASDAQ was up over 12%. That's a terrific month, and it's really good to see that happen because the last few months, probably the last year or so, have really been bad, but May and June were not good months. So have we hit the bottom? Well, we'll only know that in hindsight, but you know what? Before I get into that, let me give you a disclaimer. Whatever is being said here is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be a recommendation. Before you buy or sell anything related to anything I'm saying about the markets or individual securities here, be sure to consult your financial advisor to ensure it's the best recommendation for your personal situation. Okay, let's talk about it. What happened in June and why do we think maybe we hit the bottom? Well, first of all, we had tremendously oversold conditions. Stocks were just getting sold, and the sentiment was terrible. And we talked about that in the last month's review. The sentiment was as low as possibly you can get. And usually that's a contrarian sign. And that's exactly what happened. We got a little bit of a bounce. Some of the short sellers, these are the people who make money when stocks go down, had to rebuy their shares. So we had a bit of a rebound here. And the other thing that happened is we possibly had peak inflation in this last, well, let's say 30 days or so. If you've gone to the gas station, you've probably noticed that the price of a gallon of gas is down from where it was. It's still high. We know it's still high, but it's down from the extremely high situation that it was. I remember paying over $6 a gallon here in Carlsbad, California. And the last time I got gas, which was about a week ago or so, I paid about $5.35 at a Costco station. So, Costco usually is pretty low, but that still gives you an idea of where we've come from. My guess is if you could measure a basket of food items, it's probably come down to, although I don't have that information. The other thing that happened in the month of June, and this is really important, was that the Fed raised rates as we said they would. That was baked in the cake. They raised it by 75 basis points, but they kind of changed their tune. They're not as hawkish as they were before. They're going to be a little more data dependent. And part of the reason I think that's happening is because they have seen how the economy has slowed down. Now, if you take a look at some of the quarterly reports that have come in over the last, let's say 30 days, July and now beginning of August, this is August 2nd, you'll see that companies are still making more money than they did previously, but they're not making an increase as much as they had over the past, let's say, year or so. So let's just take some numbers and just say if they were making 10 or 12% more than before, now they're reporting maybe 5 or 6% better. Still doing better, but not as good as before. So things are slowing down. Some people talk about a recession. Are we in a recession? Are we not in a recession? The technical definition of that is that if you go 2 months with a negative gross domestic product or GDP, 2 months in a row, that's the technical definition of a recession. Now, are we in that? Well, technically, yes. But if you look at the unemployment rate is pretty strong. Companies are making more money. So we're going to have to wait and see if in fact, we truly are in a recession or not. Certainly, we're in a slowdown. And that actually, to me, is good because it does mean that the Fed maybe is reconsidering a little bit. But certainly, right now, with rates coming down, the interest rates have come down a bit. We still have an inverted curve, which still is predicting a recession. But just remember that many times we've had inverted curves and we haven't had recessions. So this may not happen now. But right now, the bulls are somewhat in charge, but I would say not totally in charge. The bear is still out there looming. So who knows where the stock market's going to go. Don't know if we've hit top or bottom. I'll tell you what I did find, though. company called Zacks. They put out a report. And in that report, they showed a bar chart of a 200-day moving average of the stock market. Now, what is a 200-day moving average? It's really pretty simple. You take the average price of the stocks for each day for the last 200 days, divide it by 200, and there's your average. You'll probably be able to see some peaks and some valleys. Now, those peaks are when many stocks are way above or are above their 200-day average. The troughs are when they're below their 200-day average. And if you go back to 2008, when we really had a really low, you can really see that when the 200-day average was really low, it didn't take long before the 200-day moving average started moving up again. If you look now at 2020, 2021, and where we are right now, 2022, you will see that in 2020, we went down with that, a lot of companies below that 200-day average. 2021, there were a lot above, and right now we're well below it. So what does that mean? Usually it means it turns around when you hit those peaks and troughs. So we had hit a trough here recently in June. Is that the bottom? I don't know. Felt like it. We'll see what happens. So based on this chart, based on a few things that are happening, I'm actually a little bit positive about what's going to happen for the second half of the year, especially if interest rates don't continue to go up. So that's kind of a review of what happened in the month of July, and we'll be back again next month and give you a review of what happened in the month of August. Until then, happy investing, everybody.